We're starting here with our sales data where we have different SKUs, different customers, and different individual sales items. And our goal is to get a line chart like this showing sales over time and to develop forecasts of future sales. What you see right here is a model forecast of future sales. And notice here in our data, time is a variable. And whenever you have data that takes place over time, even though your data set in it has a date variable with the date where different sales took place, you're still going to want to create a new table that has an automatic calendar in it. And you can see here, this new calendar has already been done. It's an automatic calendar system within Power BI that will make sure it reflects the time series nature of your data. To create this calendar, we're going to go to Data and then select New Table. And it's just going to start off with a blank table. And we're going to call this new table Calendar because that's what it is. It's an automatic calendar. And Power BI has a number of functions embedded in it, like this calendar auto function right here. So you just type that word with 2 parentheses and it's going to automatically create a table. And notice in the table here there's a different row for every day and it matches the time series of our data. The first sales in our data was January 1st, 2015, and the first day in our automatic calendar is January 1st, 2015. In the future, we're going to want some other columns that show us the month number, and the year. So let's go ahead and do that now. We're going to do a new column, and we're going to get the name of the month. And we just use this little function here where we're going to format the calendar date. And I'm going to tell it that I want a specific type of formatted date. I just want the month name. And to do that, that's what we put in the function. And when we tell it that, look, it gives us the actual month name. And of course, if you want some different type of formatted date, maybe just the year or the quarter or something like that, you can just Google how to do the format. I knew that MMMM would give me the month name because I Googled it and found this. And you'll find later that if we want like a bar chart of average monthly sales, we also need a column that tells us the month number to make sure the months are in the right order in the bar chart. So to do that, we just do this function, month, parenthesis, and then we're going to call the calendar date. That's simple. And remember, our sales data has a field in it that tells us the date, and now we have this new table that has a date. We now need to tell Power BI that these two tables are related. We do that by going to the modeling, the model tab on the left, and we find our new calendar table. And what we want to do is we want to take the date from that table and drag it up and place it on the date in our sales data. So now Power BI know that those two dates fields correspond to one another. To make this line chart, we're going to click this little icon right here that looks like a line chart, and it's going to start us off with a blank one. We're going to expand it to make it bigger, and for my y-axis, I want the sum of sales from my sales data, and from the x-axis, I'm going to choose date from the automatic calendar. And you can see right here that it's showing the sum of daily sales, and that's just way too jumbled for it to be useful. Instead, I'd like it to show the total monthly sales. And to do that, I'm going to go over to that x-axis, and I'm going to get rid of day, and I'm going to get rid of quarter, and so now it'll just show me the total monthly sales. And notice here you can look at it as a table. And so you can see, and you can also export that data as well if you want like an Excel file showing total sales in each month. Going back to report, you can always go to the figure and hover your mouse over individual months, and it'll tell you the total sales that you had for each month. To use the forecasting tool, we just click there and we find forecast and we turn it on. And notice the units here. So it says points, but you can choose different values. Now, because the data in the chart using the x-axis is already in monthly total sales, the points there refer to whatever the graph refers to. So the points are in monthly terms. And so what this means is that it's set up to forecast 1 month in the future, 2 months in the future, 3 months in the future, and so on. Now I'm going to go make the forecast length 12 months because I want to forecast 1 month from today, 2 months from today, all the way to 12 months from today, 1 year for today. Original data, sales data used to make the forecast is in green there, and now here in orange are the actual forecasts from the prediction model. To giving you a prediction, it's going to give you a confidence interval too. So the points there in orange are a single prediction, meaning a single number predicting what sales would be, while the gray bars in yellow show you the 95% confidence interval, showing you how low or how high sales may be. Now about seasonality. If the data are monthly sales, the seasonality here would refer to seasonality across months, like if sales tend to be higher in summer, or cases where high sales in 1 month tend to result in low sales the following month. Now you can either let Power BI automatically detect seasonality for you, or you can specify the seasonal relationship. To specify it, you first determine which months tend to have a relationship, whether they're either positively or negatively correlated, and then you count the number of months between the two and enter that as the number of seasonality points. Now, I made these data, so I know what the true seasonality is. I happen to know that in these data, there's a yearly pattern, such that what happens in January 2018 provides information about what will happen in January 2019. There's 12 months between those two, so I enter 12 points as the seasonality number. Now, if I specify just a seasonality factor of 1, that would mean what happens in March always tells you information about what will happen in April, but that type of seasonality is not in the data. That's why you don't actually get seasonality in the forecast there. But when you change it to 12, the true seasonality, now look at these forecasts. Now, there's almost no confidence interval. The confidence interval is really close to the forecast, which means your predictions are almost perfect. And that's just the nature of these data because I generated it. I wrote code to generate the data. Now, if you wanted to send these forecasts in the form of a table, you can always just go to the data and say, present it in the form of a table, like right here. Yeah, so show us a table, and it'll give you the table. You scroll down until you get to the time period in which you are forecasting into the future. It's going to give you the forecast value. It's also going to give you the lower bound and the higher bound that comes from that 95% confidence interval. And of course, you saw you can change the 95% confidence interval to something like a 65% confidence interval. Remember that because we specified the x-axis to have year and month, the data in the chart are on a monthly basis, so it's going to be showing the total sales per month. Now, you can change this. There's this drill down feature. At the top of the chart, there's a drill up button, and when you do that, it changes the data from monthly to yearly. Now you can look at the 2020 total sales and 2018 total sales. You can also choose a drill down feature where it goes from yearly to monthly. So now we can look at the total sales in August across all years, total sales in September across all years. And the other things we can change in a chart. Suppose instead of looking at total sales in each month, suppose we want to know average sales in each month across all years. Well, we can just change the y-axis from sum and change it to average. And now it's going to show average sales in October across all years. Average sales in September each month. And what I'll change it back here because we've been looking at total sales, sum of sales. Thing I want to show you is that, so far we've been looking at total sales across all SKUs. Suppose we want to look at total sales for one particular SKU. What we do there is we go to the filters in Power BI. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the SKU field, and I'm going to add that as a field there. You can use advanced filtering. I'm going to use basic filtering, and so we get all the SKUs listed there. I'm just going to randomly pick one. Let's take this SKU, and now it's going to show me just the total sales in each month and year for those SKUs, and it's going to show me the forecast as well. So we can really quickly, once we've set up that forecast, we can just change one thing in the filter and get a unique forecast for one particular product. And of course, like before, you can go to, you can get it as a table, and so you can get the precise forecast.